The 2-month-long public lecturers strike may be headed for a rocky end following the decision by some of the striking lecturers to resume work. Kenyatta University and more universities are seeking for an in-house solution to the strike by asking lecturers who have been on strike to resume work. The Technical University of Kenya was the first to make an offer to striking lecturers, with some of them reported to have signed committal letters that have seen studies resume at the institution. With lecturers slowly tripping back to lecture halls, will the centre really hold for the unions? Good morning there. Thank you very much for joining us. This is News Center. My name is Betty Kialo. It is the 10th day of May 2018, and I'm trusting that you're having a fantastic morning. This morning, of course, we have quite a number of top stories, one of which is the lecturers' strike and the fact that quite a number of lecturers are trooping back to the lecture halls. We'll be having a conversation here in a studio. But apart from that, also, we're following the tragedy of Solai Dam. We'll also be speaking to the governor of Nakuru County, Lee Kinyanjui, in a few moments to just tell us about the situation there so far. As you know, right now, 10 people have been feared dead and dozens are missing after Patel Dam in Solai, Nakuru burst last night. An unfortunate turn of events there. We'll be having the latest here on KTN News Center for you in the next couple of minutes. Apart from that, also, a swarm of bees descend on Maralal town, stinging to death a man. Will be having the latest on that. And also, US President Donald Trump is set to impose new sanctions on Iran to ensure it does not develop nuclear weapons. So we'll have all those details for you here on a News Center. I invite you to be part of the conversations in our coverage this morning. Of course, the hashtag to use is KTN News Center. And this morning on Twitter, we're asking you, should the unions now call off the public university lecturers strike? Would like to hear your thoughts on this one. Should the union now call it a day when it comes to this strike that began earlier on in the year, around the first day? News Center, or you can also tweet me at Betty M. Kialo. I'd be very glad to, of course, sample your views as we move along here on the show. And like I mentioned, we'll be having a number of guests, and one, of course, is going to be Professor Paul Wainaina, who's the Vice Chancellor at Kenyatta University. He's already here in studio. We'll be having a conversation in a few minutes with him. But before that, let's just revisit that unfortunate tragedy. At least 10 people are feared dead and hundreds of families displaced after the walls of Patel Dam in Solai, Nakuru County broke down on Wednesday night. Now, according to the residents, there was a loud explosion before water gushed out, sweeping away hundreds of homes in the neighborhood, including those on the expansive Nyakinywa farm. Several people are still missing from the incident, which has rendered over 500 families homeless. All right, so that is the latest. Also, we understand that there are a number of bodies which have so far been recovered. Remember that rescue operations were ongoing throughout the night. But what we can confirm right now, and shortly we'll also be speaking to the governor to just give us more information. We know that 10 people have so far lost their lives, and hundreds of families, up to about 500, have been rendered homeless.
Imefunika kitanda iko hapo. Ngoja ni. Sasa utatoa aje mzima? Wale kuna kwa samaki iko juu. Wengine wamebebwa, wengine wamekufa sasa. Nenda nyumbani. Ingia ndani. Ingia ndani.
Kuna demu imetengenezwa hapa juu, ni Mwindi ametengeneza. Sasa hiyo demu nimechimba futi 500 chini. Hiyo demu imeweza kubomoka na ikapitia ikabeba watu wengi sana. Wengi zaidi. Wengi ndio wanatolewa saa hizi na manyumba zimebomolewa. Hiyo maji imeteremka sana sana, imekula mahali, yani mahali kumeinama hivyo kidogo, na imebeba watu wengi sana.
Kusikia mara moja kwa sauti padi ya juu, padi imetoka padi ya juu, ngurumo kubwa sana. Hapo matimu yakakatika yote, na kukaa kuna giza kwenye giza. Sasa watu wote wakatoka pale jua kaza kulia, watu wanaanza mbio pale chini, maji ndio hana kuamka. Kwa hiyo maji akaja akaweza kusoma maana kupiga maji mpaka kuagusha. Kwa hivyo kutoka hapo tukaanza safari ya kuingia kwa nyumba kulia. Kwanza vile niko mguu maji imejaa kwenye nyumba yangu, maana niko pale kwa duka. Watu wakaja ndani tukajaribu kuwasaidia, tukaenda kule ndani, maji kaanza kupanda, lakini haikudhuru sana. Sina vile nimeumia kidole, nimegonga na mlango.
Wakati huu watu kama 10 wamekonfirmwa wameaga. Kuna watu zaidi ya 50 ambao wamepelekwa hospitali ya Subukia na PGH, na pia ni kwamba wengi wanahofiwa wamezikwa na maji, haswa upande wa nyanda za chini. Kwa hivyo wakati huu nataka kushukuru kwanza kwamba tumepata response ya haraka kutoka kwa county government ambulance, pia ambulance za Red Cross, GDC na wengine ambao wamefika hapa. Tunajaribu kucoordinate wale ambao haswa wako uhai na wale ambao tunapata wameaga, pia tunaweza kuwachukua. Huu ni mkasa ambao hujaonekana na hujaikuwa umefikiriwa kwa kiwango kikubwa sana.
All right, some devastating news there coming from Nakuru. It's one of the stories we'll be looking at here on News Center this morning. For now, though, I want us to bring in the governor for Nakuru County, Lee Kinyanjui. Thank you, sir, for joining us here on News Center. And Paul Sana, I understand it has been really tiresome and a really devastating night for you. Maybe you could just bring us up to speed with what's happening right now on the ground. Just seeing the pictures, really, a really sad turn of events. Maybe you could talk to us more about what's happening right now.
Okay, thank you. I think the right thing is to say that we had a very serious tragic event last night around 8 o'clock. That the water from a dam up a hill broke and, of course, swept over 450 homes. And the operations began immediately, out of which we were able to, 32 people were resuscitated and were able to recover. But it's also true that a couple of them also succumbed. But because it was night, we were not able to do proper rescue because the lights, when this tragedy occurred, the lights went off, the poles were washed away, and the whole town was rendered dark. And then it was also not very possible for vehicles to go up to that place because of the water. But nevertheless, together with the community, the operations went on yesterday and today, being joined by KDF in a few minutes, together with the NYS, and we will be able to resume that particular exercise, and I hope we'll be able to recover more and more people. But so far, we've already identified 8 bodies that were washed away and have passed on by now. And many more, I'm sure, will be found because the water traveled a very long distance after breaking.
Maybe you could just paint for us a picture. We understand that there are quite a number of homes which were close to this particular dam, and we also know the number of people who are not accounted for so far.
Okay, well, the thing is also past the number of estimated to be at around 450. And the distance between the center of the villages and the dam is about maybe 200 meters. So it's quite close. And then it's up the hill. So in terms of the speed of water, you can also imagine the speed was very fast. And again, because it happened at around 8 o'clock, everybody is at home. And generally, people or families normally converge on or around that time, so for dinner and all that. So most of the people are back at home at that time, together with the shopping center there. So, so far, the situation not good at all, but we are trying to work on the best and receiving support from other stakeholders, Red Cross, KDF, and all the others to be able to check the others. We have also opened a desk where we can be able to identify the people who are missing and also to be able to account for those that are in hospital, those who have been treated, so that we can be able to have proper numbers in the shortest time possible.
Let's talk also about the equipment because, like you mentioned there, that there are, houses that were buried. And do you have the proper equipment, and the manpower indeed to ensure that there is excavation if needed, that indeed, if there are houses which are still buried up until now, that you're able to access them?
For equipment, because that road was actually under construction, then we have county equipment. In terms of mobilizing, that matter is already been sorted. And because of the velocity, so whatever was broken was literally washed downstream. So, and these are not storied houses. They are small houses, some not permanent. So we don't have a huge rubble in one particular place. It's not like a storied building that came down. No, they were washed downstream. So we are following downstream to be able to access where the debris or the people or the bodies could be trapped.
Right, and just before I let you go, let's also just talk about the preliminary investigations. What are they saying, really? What caused this particular burst?
The rains have been unprecedented, as you can imagine, across the country. And this dam is one of three that are used for irrigation. This particular farm does horticulture and exports all year round. So it is also the farm that employs many of the people within that same village. But as to the integrity of the dam and all that, we'll be able to assess today at 11 o'clock. We'll be joined by experts from different areas to go there and inspect this particular dam and also the other two that are still there.
Finally, Governor, we understand that, of course, because of the number of families which have been rendered homeless so far, what kind of help do you need so far? I know you've mentioned that, the Kenya Red Cross has been handy, but what else do you need with regard to providing some form of shelter for the residents who have been affected, food items perhaps?
Yes, definitely. We have launched an appeal. Mm-hmm. Because, as you can imagine, these 450 families, maybe each family has about 5 or 6 people. Their clothes are all washed away, their food, and everything, including their livelihood, because even the shops and everything were there. So I think the first thing is to try as soon as possible to be able to give them food so that they can be able to go on with their life. The second one is the families that are mourning will obviously require to be helped both psychologically and otherwise, and we are working with teams to offer counseling and so on and so forth. And then clothing, blankets, and mattresses, and all these other non-food items will go a long way in terms of restoring these families that were caught up. And largely also, it is fair to say that these are low-income families. They are largely farm workers and so on and so forth, so they're not economically very well empowered.
Right. All right. Thank you very much, sir, for speaking to us here on News Center. That is Governor-Lee Kinyanjui, Nakuru County Governor, speaking to us about that devastating event that took place last night, Solai Dam, where about 10 people lost their lives and hundreds of families, like he mentioned, there are 450 actually were displaced after the walls of Patel Dam in Solai, Nakuru County, broke down on Wednesday night. That was last night, actually. I also want to bring in my colleague, Elphas Lagat, who's on the ground right now. Elphas, good morning. As I can imagine, really, it's a tough situation down there, even from what the governor has told us. What can you tell us so far with regard to continuous rescue efforts to really find the people who are unaccounted for so far?
Well, Betty, as you put it, actually, the devastation is unprecedented here in this particular place. And the number has risen so far to 20. We've confirmed with the Red Cross. We wanted to talk to one of them, actually, but they are very busy. They are actually trying to see if they can recover more bodies. So the number has risen now to 20. We can confirm that. And the casualties for those rendered homeless are close to 450 homes, as you put it in the studio. It is a massive, massive loss for the people here. And they are also worried that actually it's only a small section of the dam that actually broke, and that is, they call it number 7 section. It's a privately owned dam by one businessman, Patel, and it's actually situated in a hilly place. So when the integrity of the dam actually was lost yesterday, the water flowed down the stream, a slopy place, and it swept down an entire village, the village by the name Energy Village, and right now they're actually still trying to recover more bodies. Those who were injured yesterday were rushed to Bahati Sub-County Hospital. Some of them were rushed to Nakuru as well for treatment. And right now, as you can hear, there's a lot of noise just behind me. Is a helicopter belonging to Kenya Police. They are surrounding the place to just assess and see if they can still recover more bodies. It is a sad, sad day, Betty. And now I'm joined here by just one of the residents who is really, really saddened by the fact that the dam could possibly still, break its integrity because it's just a small section. Let's just talk to him and find out what is the situation to him, what does he think about this whole thing, and then we can try and establish to talk to a regional coordinator. His name is Mongo Chimwaga. He's been held up in a security meeting to try and assess what is the best way of helping people who've been affected by this unforeseen tragedy. So let's just talk to this gentleman here. Hey, habari yako?
Mzuri sana.
Anza kutuambia jana ni nini ilifanyika na
jana demu ya Mwindi iliweza kuchapa maji. Kukuwa na mvua. Venye demu ya Mwindi ilichapa hii hapa Lucy Stock. Maji kakuja kibebaga watu. Kulikuwa mwendo wa saa 3. Maji kabeba watu. Maji kupita hapa penye muko. Ilipita pale. Kuna nyumba utaona pale ambayo ikabomolewa. Watu wakabebwa. Mimi nilistuka sana. Nikiwa mimi na ziwa Red Cross nikitoa maiti 4 kwa maji na dada wa Red Cross wamesimama hapa penye yuko. Tukawaitia maiti 4. Tukatoka hapo sana tukaenda tukala. Leo asubuhi tukakuja tukatoa maiti 2. Penye mtoni ilipitia na manyumba ya watu ikabomoa hapo penye hapa kwa watu maji ilipitia hapo. Ile kitu tungeomba serikali baka Uhuru mwenyewe naambiwe. Tungeomba huu Muhindi last year demu tuchapaga tu hivyo hivyo. Lakini iliharibu mashamba. Hata kwangu shamba yote imebebwa kila kitu. Imebebwa yote imebebwa. Tungeomba leo kabla muende, muaje kama mmechapa hizi mademu picha ndio Uhuru aweze kuona maji yenye tumewekewa.
Na pekee tuambie
pale ama governor ama nani wakienda pale wanagongago kitu, maji inawachiliwa. Sasa hizi kuna demu hapa ya eka 30. Hapa kuna demu ya eka 40 hapa.
Wacha nikatize tu kidogo. Tuambie pengine ulipata ilani, were you warned that pengine kuna shida na hiyo damu?
Shida tuko naye juu. Hii hapa juu yenye ilichapa maji napitia juu.
Onyo ilitolewa kwamba pengine kunaweza
haikutolewa. Hata tu kuambiwa haikutolewa. Hakuna. Haikutolewa. Venye ile lami ilipowekwa, Mwindi alisema rami isiguze dam ili iguze shamba ya. Sasa unaona mtu anatuua. Na hiyo kitu tutakubali. Sasa tunaamua tushike maandamano. Hata hiyo mkutano ya governor tutaenda. Mwindi aleta lista zake zimwage ile maji kidogo kidogo ndio tuweze kulala leo.
Betty, that is an emotional statement from this guy here. He's telling us he's a resident here, and they didn't get a warning actually that the integrity of the dam was in question. We've spoken to some of the leaders of this particular place. We've talked to Honorable Gashobe, who is the Member of Parliament for Subukia. We've talked also to his counterpart, Bahati Member of Parliament, Honorable Ngunjiri. They're saying that they would be willing to try and find a way of trying to move the residents in the event that such a tragedy could also happen again. But we've also had a conversation with a couple of Red Cross members, though they are very busy right now, so we just had to have a brief conversation with them. They're saying they are ongoing with this. They are trying to treat the patients who've been taken to, as I mentioned, to Bahati Sub-County Hospital, as well to Nakuru as well, for further treatment. That is the situation here. They're still trying to uncover more bodies as well. The number is still unknown. It's still unconfirmed. We are following up on this story. Again, Betty, as the governor pointed out, maybe, a tragedy as this is unforeseen. But again, it calls to question what is the preparedness of counties, the 2 levels of government, the county governments as well as the national government. Is there a close cooperation between these 2 levels of government so that in the event of such unforeseen tragedy, especially with the rains all over the country, here in Nakuru as well, what can be done so that Kenyans, their safety is assured? This is the situation here. So much loss, anguish and pain. Parents have lost their children. We are also trying to establish if we can get someone who survived it, but obviously that would be in the hospital. So we are following up on this matter, and we will establish if we can talk to an official, that is the Red Cross. They asked us to be a bit patient with them so that they can fast-track this process of recovering the bodies.
Right.
That is it, Betty. The question of our preparedness, how is it going to be handled moving forward with the tragedies that are sometimes unforeseen, especially with the rains? Betty, that's the situation here.
Right, Elphas, just before I let you go, there's something that I have to ask. We're talking about 450 homes and families which have been displaced. Where are they now? Is there some form of shelter that they have been able to access?
Right now, Betty, they've been it's actually the people who are rescued from their homes who are rushed to hospitals, some of them with minor injuries, some of them with major injuries. But now, as I pointed out, we would like to speak to some of the officials who are very busy at the moment, but we'll try to isolate one of them to just speak to us, to tell us where have these people been moved. And the village, as I put it, is energy. A lot of structures, business structures have been destroyed, churches as well. As I mentioned in the morning, there are 2 schools. There is Solai Nakinya Primary School, Nakinywa rather, and Solai Boys Secondary School. These schools have been flooded. The students cannot learn. It's a tragedy. It's a major, major tragedy, and it's a sad day for people around here. Betty.
All right, I totally understand that. Thank you for painting that picture for us here on KTN News Center. It's a story that we'll continue to focus on now. The number has risen to 20 people who have so far lost their lives. 450 families have been displaced. Such a dire and devastating situation there in Nakuru, but we'll continue keeping an eye on the rescue efforts ongoing in that county. But moving on back to our top story this morning. Now, the 2-month-long public lecturer strike may be headed for a rocky end following the decision by some of the striking lecturers to resume work. Kenyatta University and Moi University are seeking for an in-house solution to the strike by asking lecturers who have been on strike to resume work. The Technical University of Kenya was the first to make an offer to striking lecturers, with some of them reported to have signed committal letters that have seen studies resume at the institution. With lecturers slowly trooping back to lecture halls, will the center really hold for the unions? All right, thank you very much for staying with us. That is our top story, one of our top stories this morning. And of course, we are following up very closely on it. Remember, in a few minutes, I will be speaking to the Vice Chancellor of Kenyatta University, Professor Paul Wainaina. And remember that on our Twitter poll this morning, we're asking you, should the unions now call off the public university lecturers, I beg your pardon, strike? We'd like to hear your thoughts on this one. KTN News Center is our hashtag. And also, you can tweet me at Betty M. Let me just see if I have quite a number of tweets here with regards to our Twitter poll. All right, so we're getting, all right, very many tweets here. I'll get to sample a few of them in a few minutes. So Doyle Hassan, you say, yes, but education is a foundation upon which we build our future nation. The strike should be called off. Gift, you say the strike was declared illegal a long time ago. Learning should continue in universities. Alan Kiptalami said the union should call off the strike with immediate effect. We, the students, have suffered enough. In more than 2 months, we would have done a lot in classrooms. Right now, the second semester should have been coming to an end. The strike needs to end. Dinga Odara, you say the union should call off the strike, Betty. The strike has negatively impacted on our lives of comrades. It has instigated drug abuse and other malicious activities due to idleness. All right, thank you for your comments. Keep them coming. I'll continue to sample them as we move along here on the show. But last Sunday, Kenyatta University students won striking lecturers against interfering with their studies, which were to resume this week. The students vowed to deal with NUASU officials who would attempt to disrupt learning operations as from Monday, urging them to respect decision of lecturers who individually signed commitment letters to resume lectures. Some lecturers from the institution agreed to abandon the 2-month-long strike and resume work, calling on students to report back to campus without failure.
Yote yawezekana bila uasu, na sisi tutasoma bila uasu, na sisi tutasoma bila uasu, na sisi tumechoka na uasu, na sisi tumechoka na uasu.
The strike has been so rough, especially those students who are being sponsored and those people who stay, those students who stay outside school and international students, most of which have even begun asking if they could transfer to other universities. We plead with UASU to let the strike end. Okay, they can continue with their strike, but they let education and teaching go on.
We are the student leaders, wherever you are, Mombasa County, Homa Bay, wale wenzangu wa kutoka Western, wale wa Garissa, wale wa Wajir, wote tafadhali jipange, shika virago vyako, tarehe Jumatatu, tarehe 7 tukutane shule. Hivi ninavyoongea wenzangu kutoka Parklands campus, we have lawyers from that other end. Studying is ongoing.
We want education. We cannot continue squandering the little time we have. So we want to ask the union officials of Kenyatta University to stop masquerading the national chapter responsibilities. Kenyatta University cannot be the branch where the rest of the universities depend on to shout, to make noise, and to picket on their behalf. While learning is taking place in other universities, we are not special, you know. Comrades power, comrades Ria. We cannot be special in strikes.
All right, so those are the views of and sentiments of students at Kenyatta University. And like I mentioned, that is our conversation this morning. Just a situation really in a number of public universities across the country. And of course, we'll be speaking in a few moments to the VC of Kenyatta University, Professor Paul Wainaina. Thank you very much for joining us here. All right, but for now, we'll take a short commercial break. Coming back in a few minutes. Don't go away.